Yo, ever notice some guys barely say a word, but women still want them like crazy? It's not about looks. It's not about money. It's about presence, confidence, and a few subtle actions most men never even think about. These tiny moves flip a switch inside her, and suddenly you're the one she can't stop thinking about. If you've been doing too much and getting too little, you're about to see why. If this hits home, show some love. Like, comment and share this with someone who's done being overlooked. Let's break down the 5 actions that silently shift the dynamic and make her want you in bed without ever chasing. She reacts to what you don't say. Most guys try to impress a woman by talking more, doing more, giving more, and they think if they just say the right thing, she'll finally see their worth. But here's the secret. The most powerful form of attraction doesn't come from your words. It comes from what you withhold. From your silence, your calm control, your deliberate stillness. Women don't fall for noise. They fall for a man whose presence makes the room feel different, without him saying a single word. Let's be clear. When she says she wants a man who listens, what she actually means is a man who isn't desperate to fill the silence, one who doesn't break eye contact, one whose confidence speaks louder than his mouth ever could. That's how magnetism works. It's felt, not explained. It's quiet but loud. If you've ever sat across from a woman and felt her leaning in, searching for something in your stillness, you were doing it right. Nonverbal impact is king. Here's where most men go wrong. They rush to explain themselves, they overcompensate, they give too much too soon. But what she really wants is to feel your power without you trying to prove it, and that only happens when you master restraint. Not coldness, restraint, the ability to hold your ground, to sit in stoicism, to smile without needing approval. When you stop trying to be liked, she starts paying attention, and that's when the game flips. Hard. Picture this. You're out at dinner, she's talking, testing, playing. You don't flinch. You're present, calm, engaged, but you don't overreact. That stillness? That's dominance. That's what makes her feel safe and challenged at the same time. And that paradox, safety and tension, is the formula for desire. It's not a magic trick. It's ancient. Women are biologically wired to respond to a man who has frame, who can hold the moment without needing to control the conversation. You want to know why some guys barely say anything and still end up with her in their bed? It's because they mastered the art of invisible action. These men know how to lead with intent, even in stillness. They know when to speak and when to hold tension. And that tension, that psychological space between you and her, is where the attraction builds. You're not just reacting to her energy, you're shaping it. That's what makes you unforgettable. Don't mistake quiet for weakness. A lion doesn't roar before the kill. He moves slowly, with precision. That's the energy she craves but rarely finds. Discipline in your posture, awareness in your eye contact, boundaries in your body language. You don't chase, you invite. And when she senses that you're not emotionally starving, she starts chasing your approval. And here's the kicker. She doesn't even realize why. She just feels it. It's primal. It's real. It's pure masculinity in motion. Let me give it to you straight. Subtlety is not weakness. It's strategy. The men who get results aren't louder. They're sharper, more tuned in. They don't force, they influence. Influence is invisible. It happens through tone, breath, movement. They don't need to impress her. They make her want to impress them. That's leadership. That's how you become the one she thinks about after midnight. And if you think this is just alpha talk, you haven't been paying attention to what works. Every man has a moment when he realizes talking isn't working. He said everything right. He's complimented her. He's opened up. But something's missing. Here's the truth. She's not drawn to what you say. She's drawn to the space between your words. The quiet confidence in how you sit, how you hold your drink, how you look at her without flinching. That space, filled with unspoken confidence and charisma, is more powerful than any pickup line. That's what makes her lean closer. Let's pull the curtain back. Women are emotional antennas. They pick up on micro signals, the way your eyes move, how fast you blink, the rhythm of your breath. If your energy is off, she knows. That's why men who cultivate internal control and emotional discipline win. They're grounded. They walk in stoicism, not trying to prove themselves, but radiating power just by standing still. She can't fully explain it, but she feels safer and more intrigued in their presence. Think of the last time you saw a man who made other people stop and watch when he entered a room. He didn't have to speak. His presence did the talking. That's not an accident. It's practiced. It's built. And you can create the same effect. Start by working on your walk. Slow, deliberate, grounded. Shoulders back, eyes soft but focused. No rush, no fidgeting. Just awareness in every step. That's how you send a signal without saying a word. Subtle action is not about being passive. It's about choosing your moments. You speak less, but when you do, people listen. You move less, but when you move, it's with purpose. This is what intent looks like. She feels it in your pacing, in your pauses, in your gaze. You're not all over the place trying to entertain. You're the center of the room because your frame is intact. Your world doesn't shake when she tests you. That's dominance without aggression. Here's something no one teaches you. Women create the fantasy, but they need a man to make it feel real. And that starts with tension. Not sexual tension at first, but energetic tension. You're not rushing to please. You're not following her emotional lead. You're calmly guiding the tempo with your boundaries intact. She might laugh, tease, or even challenge you. Perfect. That's where the dance begins. The key is to let her feel your polarity without giving her the upper hand. There's a man I coached once. Let's call him Lucas. Nice guy, smart, fit, but he couldn't keep a woman interested beyond 2 dates. He'd overtext, overshare, try too hard to be nice. We stripped all that down. Taught him how to sit in silence, how to lead the interaction without dominating it, how to create tension with his presence alone. 3 months later, he walked into a room and made a woman fall in love with how little he said. True story. You don't need to say more. You need to say less with impact. One slow breath, one moment of eye contact that lingers just a second longer. One choice to let her speak without interrupting. These are the moments where influence is built. She won't remember your speech. She'll remember how you made her feel. Seen, tested, intrigued. That's how magnetism works. It's not about showing off. It's about showing that you're already enough. And that's what she wants to feel near. There's a shift that happens when you stop trying to be impressive and start becoming intentional. She feels it instantly. Your words slow down, your gaze sharpens, your movements become measured. This is the point where masculinity stops being reactive and becomes grounded. You're no longer trying to get something from her. You're offering something rare, emotional stability. And the truth is, that alone separates you from 95% of men. You're not chasing her. You're showing her she's entering your world now. She may test you. She may push back. She may act distant just to see if you'll fold. And that's where your real power is revealed. Not in how you react, but in how you don't. You stay in control, not cold, but unshaken. You smile with charisma, not need. You maintain your leadership without raising your voice. And when she sees that her games don't shake your foundation, something inside her shifts from resistance to desire. That's the moment she leans in, and here a pause. Not because the lesson ends, but because this is where things start to click. If you've been feeling that knot in your chest, wondering why your best efforts haven't worked, this is it. You were doing too much, talking too much, giving away your energy with no return. These subtle actions, they're not optional. They're the difference between being remembered or being ignored. So here's what I need from you right now. If this kind of content is finally opening your eyes to things no one ever taught you, things that change the game completely, then stop scrolling, hit the like button, drop a comment, and subscribe right now. Because what's coming next? It's deeper, sharper, and even more powerful than what you've heard so far. And you don't want to miss a second of it. Let's keep going. She doesn't want perfection. She wants certainty. That grounded, quiet confidence that says, I know who I am, and I don't need you to complete me. That's self-worth in action. Most men confuse attention with attraction, but attention is cheap. Attraction requires presence. When you're rooted in your own value, without bragging or begging, you become a mirror for her desire. She starts imagining herself in your story, and the moment she sees you as the main character, she wants in. Let's be brutally honest. The world doesn't teach men how to lead themselves. It teaches them to comply, submit, over-apologize. And that energy, it leaks. It smells like insecurity. But when a man reclaims his inner alpha, not by yelling, but by acting with intent, everything shifts. People look at him differently. Women respond differently. He's not in the room trying to be chosen. He's choosing. And that shift in energy, that shift in power, is what sets the entire tone of the interaction. Women are far more perceptive than you think. They see the hesitation behind your smile. They feel the anxiety behind your compliments. And the second they sense that you're hoping for her approval, you've already lost your frame. But when you show up full, not hungry, when your eyes say, I want you, but I don't need you, that's the tension that drives her crazy. That's magnetism. She feels pulled in without understanding why. That's how polarity seduces, invisibly. You ever watch a man in total control? He doesn't fidget. He doesn't explain himself. He lets the silence do the talking. That kind of man can walk into a room, make eye contact with a woman, and shift her entire state without touching her, without speaking a word. That's influence at its peak. And here's the best part. Any man can learn it. It's a skill, a practice, a code. And the first step? Stop reacting. Start observing more than you speak. There's something powerful about a man who knows how to pause. In conversation, in movement, in response. That pause, that breath, creates mystery. It signals dominance without aggression. It makes her wait for your reaction. And in that space, her mind fills in the blanks. She starts wondering what you're thinking, how much you know, what you're holding back. That's the hook. Mystery keeps her engaged, not because you're hiding something, but because you're not desperate to show everything all at once. Let me give you something to try. Next time you're speaking to a woman, say 30% less than you normally would. Slow your words down. Let your eyes do more of the talking. Lean in slightly, and then lean back. Watch her body language respond. Watch her shift in tone and breath and posture. That's not coincidence. That's nonverbal leadership. You're leading the interaction without dominating it. And when she starts adjusting to your rhythm, you've just shifted the balance of power. Every woman is looking for a man who feels unshakable. Not hard, not cold, just centered. She wants to feel your stoicism, not as distance, but as strength. That grounded emotional presence tells her you're not going to spiral, chase, or collapse if she tests you. And trust me, she will test you. Not because she's cruel, but because she needs to know you're solid. That your masculinity can hold her emotional chaos without trying to fix it. That's rare and priceless. Now here's a twist. The more you try to win a woman, the more you lose your edge. Why? Because now you're the one seeking validation. But when you stay locked into your frame, you naturally filter who's aligned with your energy. You stop bending for attention. You stop proving. And ironically, that's when women start showing up with more desire. They're drawn to what's not easily earned. They want to be invited into your world, not have you beg to enter theirs. There's an art to not reacting. Imagine she's pushing you emotionally, waiting to see what cracks. But instead of blowing up or withdrawing, you smile, calm, collected, maybe even amused. That's charisma. It's that electric tension that makes her lean in. You're unpredictable, but safe, grounded, but exciting. And that balance is what creates attraction. When she can't fully read you, but feels your energy dialed in, it lights her up. That's when she stops analyzing and starts feeling you. Most men don't know this, but women remember how you carry yourself in silence more than what you say in a moment of charm. The way you walk beside her, the way you lead her through a doorway, the way you pause before responding to a test. These are microsignals of leadership and discipline, and they hit her subconscious like a storm, not logical, emotional, not forced, felt. That's the difference between attention and emotional influence, and that's what lasts. She's not waiting for a guy who performs. She's waiting for a man who embodies. You don't need fancy words or perfect timing. You need presence, a grounded spine, a mind that doesn't race, a voice that doesn't shake, and eyes that speak without begging. When you carry yourself like that, something clicks inside her. She feels the polarity, the tension, the invitation, and she starts imagining herself close to you, even if she doesn't understand why. That's magnetism in its raw form. What keeps her coming back isn't the way you touched her, it's the way you made her wait. The pause before you kissed her, the way you took your time to look at her, really look without flinching. That's intent. It's what tells her you're in charge of the tempo, that you're not chasing, you're choosing. When you lead with that energy, she melts. Not because you forced it, but because you created the polarity she's biologically wired to crave. A man who understands this doesn't fear rejection. Why would he? He's not here to impress. He's here to express, to show up with self-worth, not approval-seeking. And even when she pulls back, he doesn't panic. He leans into silence, into observation. He knows his value isn't up for negotiation, that unshakable inner stance. That's what gives you power. Not over her, but over yourself. And once you have that, every room feels different. Every woman sees you differently. She can feel when a man is emotionally centered. It's not something you announce, it's something you radiate. Your energy tells the story. It whispers, I'm good with or without this. That's the language of masculinity. It tells her you're not trying to earn her. You're deciding if she earns you. That role reversal isn't manipulation, it's clarity. And clarity is attractive. A man who's clear on his mission, on his boundaries, becomes impossible to ignore. There's a thin line between mystery and confusion. The key is awareness. You stay mysterious, not by being distant, but by being selective. You reveal parts of yourself slowly, deliberately, with purpose. That leaves room for curiosity. And curiosity drives emotional engagement. Women fall for stories, and if you give them too much too fast, they stop imagining. But when you let them wonder, they write the story in their heads. And that emotional investment is what makes her chase. Imagine standing in front of her, she's waiting. You say nothing, just smile. Not out of arrogance, but out of control. That one moment can flip everything. She'll talk more, she'll fill the silence, she'll mirror your breathing. This is the effect of presence. It makes you impossible to ignore. It challenges her without threatening her. And when you own that energy, you stop chasing game and start creating gravity. She doesn't want every man. She wants the one she can't read. You're not trying to dominate her. You're stabilizing the space between you. And in that space, she feels the strength she's been looking for. Not flash, not performance. Stoicism, discipline, stillness. The kind of stillness that says, you can bring whatever you want here. I'm not moving. That stillness becomes a mirror, reflecting her chaos and calming it. And when she sees you don't flinch, don't collapse, don't shift to impress, she sees something she didn't know she was searching for. And maybe that's the greatest influence of all, being the one who doesn't need to be loud to be heard, the one who doesn't need to impress to be remembered, the one whose charisma lives in the pauses, in the posture, in the way he simply holds space. That's how she ends up wanting you in bed, not because you convinced her, but because your silence said more than 1,000 words. And this is just the first shift. Let me ask you something straight. What kind of man are you going to be the next time she looks at you in silence? Are you going to fill the space with noise, or are you going to hold it with power? Are you still going to try to prove yourself? Or are you finally ready to become the man who doesn't need to be chosen to be unforgettable? Because everything we just walked through, these aren't tricks, they're shifts, internal rewiring. The stuff no one teaches you, but everyone feels when you walk into a room. Now I want to hear from you. Which one of the 5 subtle actions hit you the hardest today? Drop it in the comments below with this phrase, silence speaks louder. Let's see how many real ones caught the message. And hey, if you stayed with me till the end, I mean this. Thank you. Seriously. That says a lot about your mindset, your hunger, and your potential. You're not just here to watch, you're here to grow. So do me a favor, like the video, share it with a brother who needs this. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next, because the deeper we go, the stronger you become.